millions watched as streamers like XQC and Trainwrecks gambled tens of thousands of dollars live in real time.
Not bad. Yeah.
Twitch? Dead silent. Crypto casinos? Absolutely booming. And the viewers? They couldn't look away. But then everything changed. One scandal cracked the surface. Twitch finally made a move, and the same streamer they pushed to the top, they started turning on the platform. This is the story of the gambling empire Twitch helped build and then tried to erase. So around 2020, something weird started happening on Twitch. Suddenly, the top categories weren't games like Fortnite, Minecraft, or Valorant anymore. They were slots, blackjack, and roulette. Yep, gambling has quietly become one of the biggest things on the platform. A new genre had arrived, high-stakes crypto gambling. At the very center of it all, Stake.com. They weren't just sponsoring these streams, they were throwing millions at top creators. These streams weren't about skill, they were a raw spectacle, loud, relentless, and kind of hypnotic. And at the center of it all, Trainwreckstv. He quickly became the face of Twitch gambling. His streams would go on for sometimes 20, 30, even 40 hours straight. And it wasn't just one slot machine, he'd have multiple slots spinning at once, each one flying through thousands of dollars per second. And just when you thought it couldn't get crazier, he'd throw out lines like, if I hit a max win, I'll drop a massive giveaway.
Doing a fat giveaway, okay?
And then he'd actually do it. It kept viewers hooked. Viewers stayed locked in, not just to watch, but for a shot at the prize. It wasn't just gambling anymore. It was entertainment, money, and adrenaline all rolled into one. But it didn't stop with Train. XQC, Twitch's most watched streamer, joined the scene. At first, people thought he was trolling, but it was real, and soon, his gambling streams were pulling hundreds of thousands of viewers. Viewers were tuning in to see, will he win? Will he rage quit? Or will he blow another 100k? At its peak, the slots category on Twitch rivaled and was watched as much as the top games. And what did Twitch do? They promoted it. These streams were monetized, featured, and sometimes even trending. What started as a few risky bets had become one of the platform's most powerful money machines. But no one was asking what impact it was having. With the rise in gambling came the backlash. XQC, already a giant on Twitch, was streaming late into the night, betting tens of thousands on slots. Then, one day, he dropped a bombshell.
All I do is gamble.
I have a gambling problem. And then, he kept on streaming. His chat exploded. Some begged him to stop and others cheered him on. He said he couldn't stop and hasn't stopped. Trainwrecks? He stood by what he was doing. He said he never misled anyone. He told viewers outright that gambling is dangerous and
Do not get it twisted.
his addiction, quote unquote, ruined his life, but he still chose to do it because his bank was looking extra juicy.
I lost 800 Bitcoin today.
His stance was simple. He wasn't glorifying it, but just doing it. And then there was Adin Ross. His audience was younger, louder, less filtered. He leaned hard into crypto casinos, especially after moving to Kick. He even joked about fans gambling their lunch money. Now, whether it was intentional or not, these guys were influencers, and a lot of their fans? Kids. Some didn't even understand what crypto was. Screenshots popped up on Discord and Twitter. Teenagers were bragging about using VPNs to get access to gamble on Stake, asking how to get crypto and bragging about hitting slots. And Twitch still said nothing. There were no mandatory warnings, no age gating, and no limitations. The site's biggest creators were normalizing an activity that, even for adults, can spiral really fast. Other voices in the community spoke up. Ludwig posted multiple videos criticizing the trend and even admitting to his own addiction, while Hassan and Pokimane hosted stream discussions about ethics and influence these large streamers have for selling out to gambling. Their message? This wasn't just risky, it was a potential PR disaster waiting to happen. But Twitch still said nothing. When money talks, who's listening? Because let's be honest, this was bringing in money, a lot of it. But it wasn't just the open gambling that raised eyebrows. Some streamers, like Roshtine, were spinning slots for hours, flashing massive wins, but they weren't even using their own money. The casinos backed them, the risk was fake, the content was real. But to viewers, it all looked legit. It blurred the line between entertainment and deception and made gambling feel way safer than it really was. And that illusion only made what came next hit even harder. Then came the tipping point. September 2022, a scandal exploded that Twitch could not ignore. Streamer Sliker went live in tears and confessed something that no one expected. He confesses to scamming fans out of over 200 grand to feed his gambling addiction. He borrowed money, lied about emergencies, and just kept betting. The reaction was immediate on Twitch and social media. Twitter lit up, Reddit exploded, and other streamers, some of them victims of this scam too, came forward with screenshots of what they sent to Sliker but never got it back. Big names got involved. Pokimane, Mitskif, Hassan, calling for Twitch to act. Some even threatened to boycott. Some said Twitch was complicit, others demanded full bans. Viewers began asking harder questions. How many other Slikers are out there? With pressure mounting, Twitch finally responded, and on October 18th, they banned unlicensed gambling sites like Stake and Rollbit. But even that raised questions. Why now? Why did it take a full-on scam to make a move? Why did they ban only the unlicensed sites, rather than the gambling category itself? And the ban? It wasn't airtight. Some sites just rebranded, others went around the rules. For many, it felt like too little, too late. As for Sliker, after the confession, he pretty much just vanished. No regular streams, no big apology tour, just silence. But in a surprising twist, the community didn't just get angry, they stepped up. XQC and Trainwrecks, two of the most controversial names, offered to reimburse the victims themselves. They didn't have to, but they did. That's when things got even more complicated. Twitch made their move, but the streamers, they had other plans. Enter Kick, a shiny new platform that looked just like Twitch, backed by crypto casino money, created by none other than Stake themselves. It promised freedom, fewer rules, and more control for creators. And most importantly, zero restrictions on gambling. Train didn't just move to Kick, he was there from the start. He worked directly with the owners to help shape the platform's vision and market the platform. He wasn't just a streamer, he became the face of Kick's launch. He marketed it as a creator-first, free speech alternative to Twitch. But beneath the surface, it was clear. This was a platform built to keep gambling alive with Train front and center. Adin Ross jumped in immediately. His streams were wild, loud, and often reckless. Kick gave him more freedom than he ever had on Twitch. He used the freedom from crypto giveaways to borderline TOS breaking stunts. Adin made sure people were watching, for better or worse. But the big bombshell came when it was announced that XQC signed a deal reportedly worth $100 million. He was already one of the wealthiest streamers alive, but with that contract and his partnership with Stake, XQC became richer than most top athletes and A-list celebrities. Overnight, Kick became the new home for gambling content. The platform didn't just allow it, it featured it. It was the main event, exactly what Stake had planned all along. XQC told his audience he'd slow down on gambling, be more cautious, but his very first stream on Kick, he was spinning slots again. Kick said they weren't just about gambling, but their top categories told a different story. Twitch had banned the content, but now it was bigger, louder, and arguably more dangerous than ever before. Kick isn't just another streaming site, it's a streaming site built by Stake to keep gambling alive after Twitch shut the door. On paper, Kick promised creator freedom. In practice, it was chaos. Bot-inflated view counts, streamers pushing crypto giveaways, almost zero moderation. The terms of service, so relaxed that Twitch looked like a strict parent in comparison. Kick claimed it was about building a better platform for creators, but critics weren't buying it. They called it what it really was, a gambling-first site dressed up as a streaming service. Some even speculated Kick was laundering reputation, using popular streamers to normalize crypto casinos for a mainstream audience. And here's where it gets messy. Viewers didn't just tolerate it, they loved it. They followed their favorite streamers, they joined the chaos. For some, it was about the content. For others, it was about the giveaways, the hype, the high-stakes drama you couldn't find anywhere else. So yes, Twitch banned gambling, but the demand, still massive. And Kick, it was built to supply it. Whether Twitch knew it or not, by waiting too long to act, they didn't solve the problem. They just made space for a much bigger one. Gambling streams were Twitch's dirty little secret. Addictive, profitable, and for years, completely unchecked. When things got ugly, Twitch pulled the plug. But let's not pretend they didn't help build the whole system. Because in this industry, controversy doesn't end careers, it launches them. So the question is, who's really to blame? The streamers, the platforms, or the viewers who keep tuning in? Drop a comment, let us know what you think, and if you want more stories just like this, consider subscribing. Because this was just the beginning.